This project is made up of the following sections: Surface Flow Setup, Particle Setup, Rendering, Post-FX. On this channel, I also post short tutorial videos mainly focused on TouchDesigner. I'd be glad if you subscribe to the channel. Additionally, the project files are available for download on my Patreon. If you find my tutorials helpful, I would truly appreciate your support there. We're going to add a point generator pop and null POP. To set up the rendering, we're going to add a geometry comp, a camera comp, a light comp, and a render top. Let's move to the Light tab and set dimmer to 5. Then, please move to the Shadow tab and change shadow type to soft. You can also increase the shadow resolution value to create higher quality shadows. Set the background alpha to 1. Also, if you like, change the pixel format to 32-bit float RGBA. We're going to add a Phong MAT. Drag and drop it onto the Geo comp, and set it as the material. We're going to add a particle POP. We're going to add a pop to DAT, and check the data from the point generator pop and the particle pop. Then, you can see that the particle pop automatically adds the attributes needed to control the particles. Also, to understand the feedback in the particle pop, we're going to add a transform POP. We're going to add a keyboard in Chop, and reference it in the initialize and start parameters of the particle pop. Drag and drop the transform pop onto the particle pop to create a feedback loop. Then, you can see that the particles keep increasing by 1 in the x-axis direction because of the transform POP. We're going to add a noise pop. In the Output tab, enter Floater in Output Attribute Scope. If we use a pop to DAT and check the data, you can see that an attribute called Floater has been added. We're going to add a GLSL POP. Enter P, part vel in output attributes. Move to the Vector tab, and create the vectors used in the code. We're going to add an out top, and check the rendering result. Drag and drop the GLSL pop onto the particle pop to create a feedback loop. Set the number of points in the point generator pop to any value you like. In the maximum particles parameter of the particle pop, reference that value. Also, reference the maximum particles value in birth rate, and divide it by 2. Set life expect, which controls the time from the birth of a particle to its disappearance, to 1 second. Also, set life variance to any value you like to add randomness to that timing. We're going to add a lookup texture pop and a ramp top. In the ramp top, create a gradient you like. Drag and drop the ramp top onto the lookup texture pop to add color to the particles. We're going to add a sphere pop. We're going to add a copy pop, move to the Use Template Attributes tab, and enter color. We're going to add a feedback top. Reference the keyboard in chop to the reset pulse. We're going to add a level top. We're going to add a blur top. We're going to add a composite top, Then drag and drop it onto the feedback top to create a feedback loop. Set the values of the level top and blur top to your liking. We're going to add a bloom top. By changing the values in the noise pop and the parameters in the GLSL pop, you can adjust the particle movement to your liking.